how do you work?
As far as making music?
Yes, do you like start with the lyrics and you write them down, or do you start with the beat? Or?
I don't write. You know, when you do that, you work up your memory, and my memory was getting stronger and stronger. After a while, I was retaining like 4 or 5 songs at one time. I lost plenty of material that way as well, so I wouldn't suggest it to anyone. It's not.
So every time we have one of these new, what I call intellectual technologies that come along and change the way we gather information or the way we look at the world or the way we communicate with each other, we also see, either subtly or fairly dramatically, a change in the way we think.
Johnny Fontana, half amazing TV. Johnny Fontana, half amazing TV. Welcome to a new tutorial. This one is going to be kind of special. We're going to actually take this one, right, and we're going to apply it across the board from beginners to veterans, right? I'm going to go through, as the title says, okay, how to count bars, how to mix, okay, and how to program a DJ set. I'm going to give you the 5 steps, right, in terms of how to program a night, okay, and go through all the steps in detail, right? Now, before we get started, officially grown, I'm actually working on some t-shirts, right? I had a meeting in Florida. Not really too happy with how things are going in terms of the system, but I'm still learning the system, but just be on the lookout for that, right? All right, so here's what happens, right? Like, first of all, like, we're gonna go like psychology. We're gonna go deep, because I know some of you, right, you like that deep thought, right? You're not gonna get this anywhere else, right? Now, first of all, also, the tutorial is coming up, all right? But just, you have to listen to this, all right? Because I know some of you, you just like to go straight to tutorial. You have to understand all of this, because this is not only for the beginners, this is for everyone. This is like some real deep analytical stuff here, all right? All right, I've been working with this person, right? He's not a DJ, okay, but he's an artist of his own right. So he is established, okay, actually well established, and we've been going through how to DJ, right? And we started off with just going through how to organize folders and how to pair music and so forth, but he actually started doing mixes on his own, which is good, taking initiative, right? However, he just doesn't understand how to do the mixing and all this kind of stuff. So I realized that, he just doesn't understand how to count bars. I don't normally do this, but, because, you know, I'm from New York, so I don't really throw people my competition, but I sent him some videos of another DJ, right, so he can learn how to count bars, because I haven't done the basics, okay, because, you know, I've been in the game for so long that I don't know how to rewire my brain for basics, right? So he came back, he was like, yeah, I can count bars, but still, I just don't understand. So now I realized he's big picture, just like me, right? So someone like us, we're creative types, we see big picture. Now, let me break it down for you, okay? Understand what's going on, because we're going to get into the science and to the psychology of it all, right? You have people that are naturally drawn to their strengths, okay? So some people are naturally drawn to production, and then by default, they have to become DJs in order to recreate the sound that they make, because they can't do it to a live band. So you have a lot of people like Martin Garrix, Calvin Harris, Skrillex, okay? They were all part of bands. So in order to recreate what they have now, which is music, okay, they have to do it through a DJ live set. Other people gravitate towards DJing first, and then they migrate into production, because production is what, you know, gives you that extra edge, because you can be anywhere and produce, and you can make a hit and so forth, right?
You become a DJ, then producer. It seems like they all kind of, you know, DJ, producer, kind of...
Wait.
Explain.
DJ never happened.
DJ never happened. Okay.
Musician, rapper.
Okay, you were a rapper.
Producer.
Okay.
And yeah, I never was a DJ in the sense that I mixed records and played other people's music, you know. My first show as a producer, which you know, an audience member looking up on stage, seeing a guy with a table and some computers, it's like they don't know if you're DJing or making music from scratch. You know, that's one of the sort of problems with electronic music as a performance art.
And then you have some people who just get involved in however they get involved, and they make it work, and then they just test the waters until they come up with something, right? But if you have like a Martin Garrix, he was actually a nerd. He attended production school, so his mind, okay, is geared towards that linear, logic, scientific way of thinking. Whereas for me, I'm a DJ, I'm geared towards big picture, okay? So listen to what Martin says.
What process did you have to take to sort of get it from through that basically from?
I think just a lot of time in the studio, and also because the first version, which you probably heard, was from already 2 years or 3 years ago, and I right now I'm attending a special school for producers where I learn a lot about producing, and it's also helped me a lot with getting a special production level.
Oh, that's amazing. So you do it all by yourself?
Yeah.
That is amazing, because you're only 17, right?
I'm 17.
Okay, you see what I'm saying to you? So for me, I'm big picture, meaning that I need to know what is working, how it's working. So for example, if you gave Martin Garrix a car to fix, because you know now everything is electronic, I guarantee that in a month he would understand the electronic components, because he would go on YouTube and he would know, be able to go through all, even like the schematics, okay, the electronic schematics, he'd be able to go through everything and pinpoint it. For me, it doesn't work like that, because I'm big picture. I need to know, okay, how it's working, why is it working. So if you say, okay, fix a car, I need to know, okay, what's wrong with that part, how does that part work, and how does that part help the whole vehicle work, because I need to know the big picture. You see what I'm saying to you? So that's when I figured, and I had an epiphany. I was like, because I was doing some research, because you know you got to do research, right? And I haven't really, you know, thought about the basics, and I haven't wired my brain like that. And I'm thinking, why can't he understand the mixing? Because he was asking, yeah, I get the beat counter, but I want to make creative mixes and I want to do this, but I can't see how they go together. And I realized this. We're in 2017. Everything that we do right now, as far as technology, okay, is long tail. Your phone, okay, the iPhone, YouTube, your tools at home, everything is long tail. It's not like it was before. When I first started DJing, I started off with a turntable and a mixer. That's it. So I had to learn by ear. But now, guess what? We are asking these DJs to learn, okay, by ear through today's technology. But what do they have today? When his first piece of equipment was a DDJ Pioneer. So now what he sees tractor, he sees screens, beat PM, he sees virtual time cards, okay? Everything is there for him. So he knows exactly what's happening. So it's like you, and I see this all the time, right? A DJ comes up and says, yeah, you gotta embrace technology. Cool, we embrace technology. But I don't know how to DJ. Oh, you gotta learn by ear. But you want me to learn how to DJ by ear using today's technology? When we are conditioned, our brains have adapted to the new ways and pictures and everything else? So that's when I realized that we're doing a disservice to a lot of the DJs that are coming into the game, either being brand new, or those that have left and that came back in, or those that are just older and are interested in DJing. Check this out.
But in the last few decades, neuroscientists and psychologists have discovered that our brains are very adaptable at the cellular level. And that's not just when we're kids, as used to be assumed. It's throughout our adult lives. In essence, our brains adapt to what we use them for, and they adapt to the technologies we use. And so the ways of thinking that we engage in a lot get strengthened, and those that we don't engage in get weaker. So if you think about when you read a printed page, the ways of thinking that in effect you're training yourself to do are the ways that require deep attention. close concentration on one thing. In those types of thinking, it turns out, which are hard to do. I think naturally we like to be distracted, but those very attentive ways of thinking have been associated with the ability to create deep memories in our own minds, to create the connections between information and experiences that give richness and depth to our thought, to certain types of conceptual thinking and critical thinking and even creative thinking. What you have with the net is this persistent state of interruptions that short circuits that deep attentive thinking. And now there are some good things about that. What you see in the scientific evidence is that the more we use the web, the more we use computers, we tend to strengthen certain visual skills, our ability to keep track of lots of images moving across a screen. But by short-circuiting those more attentive ways of thought, I think you also lose things like deep conceptual thinking, or at least hamper it in deep critical thinking and even deep creative thinking. So there's a cost to this constant inflow, this constant barrage of information that we find ourselves processing more and more today.
So you see what I'm saying to you? So our brains are now adapted. So now, we're going to get into that tutorial, but let me go over the 5 steps, okay, when it comes to DJing, and you're gonna understand where I'm coming from, because again, it's big picture, working your way backwards. Okay, there are 5 steps. I'm gonna list them off and go into details. The first step, which is the 5th step, going backwards, is programming. Okay, what is programming? Programming is essentially the mood, setting up the mood. You can be at a nightclub and the DJ plays something and you see people that are not really reacting and you're like, oh, it's not good for the mood. That's programming. You're in your car. You are thinking, I want this kind of sound. You play that kind of sound, right? And after a couple of tracks, you're like, I want a little bit something upbeat. You play that. That's programming, okay? So when you are at a nightclub, okay, when you're DJing, okay, let's say you're playing in Ibiza. I have a couple artists that are going to be playing this summer, okay, in Ibiza. You set up, you go in, and you see the crowd. You program. You can either do it before, okay, or you do it right there on the spot. You program, you see, okay, who's there. And let's say you have a particular song, okay, that is a popular song, or the song that you want to put on, that you're gonna break out, okay, because now it's different now, because you have like 8 people on the bill, okay. But I'm talking about like when a DJ, when you got your headliner set, you're all alone, you're like, yo, this is the set, this is the track that's gonna be popping, okay. It's been popping and it's been creating some vibe. I'm gonna work my way towards that, okay. So now you program, okay, let's say John Flores, fucking you makes me,
you fucking
that track right there. Bilingual. That's the mood that I'm creating. Okay, so I'm setting up a mood because I already see the crowd, I see where they're at, and I know exactly where I'm going to take them. Okay, if you're paying me $2,500, that's 2,500 US dollars. There's minimal reading the crowd I'm going to be doing. Okay, you don't pay me to read the crowd the entire night. You pay me to give a performance. Yes, I have to adjust to the crowd here and there, but it's that mood. So I'm constantly creating moods. So at 12 a.m., that's a different mood than 10 p.m. It's a different mood than 2, because you have different crowds coming in. So you're setting up the mood. So after that mood comes the arrangement. That's number 4. It's how are you going to set up the music. You can do it on the spot or you can do it in blocks. I like to do mine four tracks. Let's say I have that track by John Flores, Fucking You Bilingual. Makes me bilingual. I can now take 4 tracks in my mind, arrange it, okay, figure out how they're gonna go, okay, interlead into that big track. So that's basically, I'm setting up, it's like a setup, right? So I have that 1 track, that 5th track. I'm gonna take all these tracks. So in my mind, as I'm DJing, I can already in my mind do like a playlist in my mind, okay, or I can do it on the spot depending on how I do. But you have like people like Jay-Z, guess what? They can have 4 or 5 songs in their head because they've built up their memory. Check this out.
How do you work?
As far as making music?
Yes. Do you like start with the lyrics and you write them down, or do you start with the beat? Or
I don't write because I used to write when I was young. I would write for hours and hours on end. And you know, that stream of conscious comes to you all the time, whether you're at the table or not. So as I start moving into the streets, I start becoming further and further away from my notebook. So I would memorize these words, and then I would have to run to the house and write them down. And you know, when you do that, you work up your memory, and my memory was getting stronger and stronger. So after a while, I was retaining like 4 or 5 songs at one time. I lost plenty of material that way as well. So I wouldn't suggest it to anyone. It's not.
You see what I'm saying to you? So what you can do now, you can do it on the spot as you're playing, okay? But again, you're not being paid to read the crowd every track. So you already have 3 tracks. And as you get, you know, to DJ longer, and you know crowds, and you're playing before the same type of crowds, you know, okay, I'm gonna play these 3 or 4 tracks, but you have to arrange it however, okay, in order to get to that 5th track, that real banger, right? Now you come down to the transition, okay? So now you have the programming, you have the arrangements, now you come down to the transitions, which means how are you going to introduce this song, okay? What kind of vibe? Are you gonna go in there with a nice, you know, impact? Are you gonna create a long mix? Are you gonna break down mix so that you have one coming in, one coming out, and create an impact? The different ways how you can do the transition, right? You want to go, you know, from the beginning, outro, intro. You want to do, you know, in the middle of the song. You want to, if you're a scratch DJ, you want to scratch and drop, you know, on the one, or you want to do an acapella, right, over 2 tracks, 2 instrumentals, and then bring, you know, another track, a 4th track. That's all the transition. How you're gonna go, okay? Transition, okay? Now, the 3rd step is the actual mix. Okay, sorry, that was the 3rd one. Okay, the 2nd one is the mix. Okay, which means how now are you going to mix? Are you going to loop it? Okay, loop the tracks. Are you going to come in with the bass down, or like how I do, with all EQs off? Okay, and then as the track comes in, I pull the EQs, you know, in. Remember, don't confuse that with EQing. Just by me having a low pass filter or cutting off the lows, okay, or the bass, killing the bass, and as the track comes in, I bring it back up. That's an effect, okay? That's not EQing. So depends on how you want to mix a song. And finally, okay, this is the last step. So you have programming, number 5, arrangements, number 4, transitions, number 3, 2, which is the mix, and finally the EQ. Many people think the EQ is just the volume, okay, the hi-hats, the lows. No, it's everything. It's basically equalizing the sound, so the tempo, everything matches the phrase, everything sounds good and clean. The EQ levels, everything sounds nice so that it comes. So if you're doing like a mix and you want to really impact it, you want to make sure that the EQ is good, the loop is on point, the tempo is great, the phrasing is correct, and the timing is perfect. You see what I'm saying to you? So the transition also has to do with timing, okay? When you time it, how you time it, and all sorts of different stuff. Okay, so again, you have the arrangements, you have the programming, okay, which is the mood. You have the arrangements, which is how you actually arrange the tracks, okay, in order to reach that certain mood. And you can do different moods throughout, you know, the night. You know, if you have open at night versus after hours versus outdoors. Then you have the transition, how you're now going to transition, you know, the songs, okay, whether it's going to be high impact, low impact, scratch, okay, whether it can be just a nice even, you know, mix, long mix, short mix, however, okay. Then you have the mix, okay. How do you mix these, okay? You're going to do the EQ, you know, the low pass filter. You're going to add an effects first. You're going to do the delay, looping, okay, intro or outro, wherever you're going to do it. And then finally you have the EQ, making sure that all the sounds are good to go and everything is nice and equalized. All right, so we're gonna get ahead and get into this tutorial. And by the way, this Friday we're gonna do a double this week, all right? I'm coming out with the Dance Tunica radio show. It's going to be just a special show, one time only, all right? With DJ Strio from Luxembourg, because this is opening weekend in Ibiza, so we're definitely looking forward to that, right? I got a couple tracks out, and one by Tosh, okay, which is an exclusive track called Fucking High, which is a really dope exclusive track. So let's get into this tutorial, and we out.
I gotta sync everything. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Alright, I'm not gonna get too technical. Okay, I'm not the best when it comes to explaining music because I'm not a musician and all that, but I'm just going to give you the basic. It's going to be raw, it's going to be quick. Okay, now keep in mind that the person who I'm actually working with, he was like, man, like all this stuff is so technical. I guarantee that after I do all of this stuff right here for you, you're going to be like, man, like this is much easier. Because listen, okay, you have the time, you have the beat PM here, okay? There's no more having to mix by ear. People talking about, oh, I cannot match, or I cannot match my beats. Look, everything is here. And you know what? It's funny, when I submitted my track to George Montilla, you guys know George Montilla, right? He's a pretty dope producer in Spain. He actually mastered 2 of my songs. And so when I sent him the music, right, they were like at maybe 125, you know, point whatever. He asked me, hey, are you trying to confuse the DJs? Because now everything is just solid, 120, 120, right? So it's easy. All you gotta do is just match up the numbers and you're good, okay? So let's do the counting of the beats, okay? We're gonna do the measures. Now, most music, okay, we're working with house music now, so most music is the 4 count by the 8 count, okay, and all the way until the 32, and then it changes over. So watch how I start with the counting, okay? I'm gonna have the number on the screen as well, and you just follow me, okay? Now you'll notice the time, okay, that everything changes around 15 seconds, and then something major happens around every 30 seconds, okay, which is 32 bars, okay? So this is the downbeat, okay, and we're gonna start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Big change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Big change. All right. And you notice how we're at the 45. So let's go back here. 15, okay? That's 32 bars. And you'll notice again at 30 it's going to change. Okay? Usually most house dance tracks start their bass around 30 seconds. Okay? Or 1 minute, or let me lower this real quick. Oh, I can't lower it. And the breakdown usually comes around 1 minute. Okay, it's different, so that's why you need to know your track. Well, nowadays you don't need to know your track, because now you can tell, okay, here this starts going, kicking in at 1:30. Okay, now for the end, guess what? It's the same thing. When you see, look at the screen, and then your head, you should be counting, right? And we're counting some more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You see? So right there, you should be actually mixing this track in. So again, and then it just becomes naturally, see? All right. Let's work with the pitch. Now we got everything controlled. See, now this one is in right now, full on. You see what I'm saying? Now we'll work. We'll work in terms of the different creative types, but this is just giving you an idea. And see right here, I just brought down the bass, and I'm going to loop it. Now, here's what you have to understand right now. Now, this track takes so long to get in, right? So, what do you think you would want to do here? So, let's say, let's look at it. Let's stop here. It's at 1:30, right? And even here, it should still take so long. So at 2 minutes. So what I'll do is we'll do this. Come here. Bring back the bass. And we'll figure out. So we got 2 minutes. This is 2 minutes. So this is the last break. So we'll probably put it in here and right. So now it's even now. So now this is gonna take 2 minutes to come in and 2 minutes to release. Okay, this is easy, basic mixing. Okay, there's no creativity. It's just basically matching, you know, stuff. If I want, I'll just put down the bass here because I don't want to cause any clashing. But I just have everything full on so that you have an idea what's going on. Now down here I have a acapella. Okay, so that a lot of the times, especially with this music, when everything is so long, you want to have something that's going to fill up the space, because otherwise it's going to be so boring. Okay, but that's why I talk to you about the low impact, high impact music. This right here is very low impact, so there's not really that much creativity you can be doing with this stuff. And a lot of people say, oh, I want to be creative, and you can't. This is just there's no impact, there's nothing here. It's just easy listening music. You have to understand the difference between high impact, low impact, and easy listening. This is easy listening. So right here, I'm gonna do something that's cool and just, right? Because since this right here, they're both up, and then I bring it up. And I loop that. And I let it go.
The night moves on.
Okay, the acapella is off, but I'm just showing you.
That I could float right up and kiss the sky.
Okay, but you have an idea.
Standing on the dance floor, my hands raised high.
See, I just looped that right here because I don't want it to go.
Now's the time.
And guess what? Here we go.
Free to let myself go.
And I just stopped that. You see what I'm saying to you? Now that went to there. Now, if you want to get creative with this, right? If you want to get creative, watch, let me show you something. I'm going to, I know there's a lot of dead space in here, but I'm going to show you something. So let's say this track is playing. Okay, and we're coming here, and you want to get creative with it. So you already set your loop here. And then I'll just release my loop, come back here,
The night moves on and time flies.
Right, so that there's no dead space.
Float right up and kiss the sky.
It's just, you know,
standing on the dance floor.
Obviously it's not clean now because I'm showing you guys, but you have an idea of what's going on, right?
Now's the time I start to feel free. Free to let myself go.
You see what I'm saying? So now it makes it a little bit more interesting. There's not that much, a lot of space that's just going by and stuff like that. And it's the same thing with this. Right? There's a lot of space. So now if you start here, which a lot of DJs do, they wait to the last minute. All depends on how the song is. Remember, you want to make sure that the sounds don't clash. You can use the bass. And right here, you see how I just looped it? So by looping it, it sort of gives it a little bit more musicality, or you know, because it doesn't clash with the sound. And then from here I can just take it off. You know, it's all about using the EQ, doing it the right way. Right? So basically that's where we are right now. Okay, obviously it's not clean, nothing is there. I'm doing everything on the fly, and I'm not using full EQ. I'm not really paying attention to everything in terms of sound and level, because I'm giving you guys a tutorial and I want you to have a full understanding of what's going on. But yeah, so that's basically it. And now you have to understand, different music calls for different types of sequencing, okay, different arrangements, different types of mixing, different types of EQing. You see, so if you have more impact music, and like I said before, if the transition is going to be different. Let's say you are doing a set, and you're in peak hour. That peak hour music, right, may require you to do a couple short mixes to get the crowd going, you know, and make them go, ah, yeah, you know, get that sort of response from them. You see what I'm saying to you? So the creativity, see, people are like, you know, because especially with the person I'm working with, he's just concerned about being creative. Again, you have to know when to be creative and also how to be creative. But that creative is basically you working on different stuff, different kind of music. So my creativity would be different than someone else because I play music with vocals, funky, groovy and stuff like that. So someone who plays more techno, they can do layering, they can do all kind of, different stuff, and it'll be just different creativity because we're working with different music and different sound and so forth and so on. And also depends on where you are, if you're at the beach, if you are a nightclub, if you're after hours, all these little things count. But again, people are like, oh man, it's just so much information. It's not. It's just, you just have to expose yourself to these things. Just like you can get up and brush your teeth and take a shower and go eat. It's the same. There's no difference than being able to apply these techniques to different areas once you have done them a few times. Okay, that's why it's very important to booth ride. All right.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Fucking thing sucks.